back, everybody, to another episode of the Mismatch Misfits. It's been a minute. Today, uh, let me start that again. I am your host, David. David Literacy. Today, I am joined by my two good friends. Someone who you rarely see pop in here every now and then, Mr. Brian Lindsay. You want to say something, Brian? You want to say hi to the people?
Man, what's going on, people? On the next episode, man, of Mismatch Misfits, man, we got some news you can use. And today's topic, man, is to get you talking about Black excellence. So let's see what we got today with our next co-host.
And yeah, for our next co-host, we have uh Mr. David, Mr. Yuso himself. Someone who I wanted to have on here because he would be a good example for me of excellence. So, David, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm David, Mr. Yuso himself, as David said. I'm more than appreciated to be joining the how you say it? What is it?
Mismatch Misfits.
Mismatch Misfits. And
Yes, sir.
I am super excited for this opportunity to talk about the Black culture and just to dive deep into it.
All right, cool shit. All right, just a little tip. You wanna talk a little bit about yourself, David, about what you do? We've seen Brian here a couple times. We know Brian is just existing
Yeah.
around with us.
So my name is David, like once again, and I have my own clothing brand as of right now. It's not some as big at the moment, but I am manifesting that it does get bigger in the future. But I am a full time worker at Office Depot, trying to, scrap up some change for investment for my business. Other than that, I try to enjoy life and live it to the fullest, and try not to think so much about you know, my surroundings. And if I do, I allow positive surroundings into my life and I block out the negative.
I wonder how you're a friend. We carry a lot of negative. Anyways, so yeah, like both of my co-hosts said, they are of the melanated kind. They are very uh beautifully glazed, chocolate glazed. They are my good black friends. So I wanted to have them along because I am not black. I am brown. I am Hispanic. I'm Mexican. So I don't have a lot of input in this. It's not like I could just say something that's where I don't belong. That's not something that I'm a part of. So I wanted to have them to explain this to me, to kind of teach me what they know in their point of view. And also a bonus, these are two different generations. So we have Mr. Brian over here who is from my generation, the old school, the 90s, who grew up with, you know, the OGs, as you can say. We had people older than us who taught us how to live life. And Mr. David here is from what would be Gen Z?
The new
Gen Z, most definitely.
Yeah, Gen Z, much younger, the internet age. He came up in the internet age. He is, of a modern upbringing. So, this is also two very opposing views. Two different worlds of the same world. Two different, upbringings. So I wanted to have the input. So my first question to you guys, and you don't. There doesn't have to be specifics, and again, you don't have to relay any personal information. But whatever you're comfortable with, um, explain to me in your words what is black culture. David, I want to start with you.
Oh, can you actually start with Brian? I'm
Okay.
sorry.
not me, but it ain't Black culture.
I just want to hear the OG speak. You feel me?
Oh
Oh,
wow,
bet.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, go ahead, Brian.
man,
What is black culture to you?
man. What is Black culture? Is
Yeah.
what you contribute. It's it's what we contribute to others.
Okay.
Like, for instance, man,
Yes.
without us, there wouldn't be no music, no form of music, because we were the original ones to have rhythm, and we were the original ones let me give you a time period, man.
Now, really?
After the Civil War, there were two individuals that would go around. Well, after the slaves were free, there were two individuals that went around as clowns, dressed up as blackface, and
Mm-hmm.
they were mocking slavery in the end of it, right?
Yeah.
And out of that came music, and we started doing blues and jazz. And if you watch how music has evolved throughout the years, you've gotten rock and roll, you've gotten, I mean, you name it, rap, hip hop,
Blues,
country. So
rock,
we contribute to rock. I mean, we contribute to a lot, not just music wise, but I mean, food, you name it. Um,
influence is wide.
Influence, yeah, it's worldwide. Even as inventors, like something's common as the stoplight, bro. We've done it all. But the problem is, even with the excellence, sometimes gets suppressed. And
Okay.
so we've been put on the back burner
Okay.
of all of our accomplishments that we've done over the years and over the many countries too.
Mm.
Hmm.
Okay. So to you, to you, culture is what you've contributed to. It's what yeah, what has derived from you, like your
Hmm.
history.
Yes,
Okay. Just in simpler terms, it's your history.
yes.
Okay. David, what is black culture to you?
I think Black culture is what we're living in an everyday basis, and to break that down into like be more specific, as far as to like everything that we do, to dancing, to music, or what music we listen to,
Yeah.
as far as the slangs that we say. I feel like that all came from Black culture. And as Brian said, we've been on a back burner, so we don't really get the recognition and like how we're supposed to. But
Yeah.
really, you know, if it wasn't for the Black culture, most of the stuff that we have in modern time or this modern day,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be here. It would. I feel like it would be like an unseasoned world, and I feel like the Black culture was able to add a lot of seasoning into it.
Like how you say, unseasoned world.
Fact.
All right. I mean, like I said, I don't know. Like, for me, this is from the outside looking in, because this isn't something that I was just exposed to black culture, but by black culture I mean black media. So I grew up listening to hip hop. I grew up watching black movies. I grew up in surrounded by in black neighborhoods, surrounded by black people, black all types of different people, old heads, OGs, everybody. So I learned a lot from just these people growing up. So I just wanted to gel inputs. Okay, Brian.
Yes,
So you say that that black culture to you is the history, right?
yes.
Okay. Would you consider that to be? Let me hold on. Let me rephrase that. Would you say that your history equates to excellence? To to be excellent, to be better. I guess. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I would say yes and no.
Okay.
Elaborate on that question.
Um. Let me see. Let me. Do you think that your definition of black culture equates or is what brings about black excellence? Because to me, right? I'm not too sure. To me, these two words always seem to be synonymous, like put to be synonymous with each other. But to me, I want to know the correlation between these two words, or um, does that make you like? Does black culture, in your definition, would be the same as black excellence?
In
David.
other words, break down the two words of black excellence. You got black itself, and not only what it means to be black, and what and how we are portrayed or seen as black, and then you go and add the word excellence to it, and the definition of that to be something that is great of, or to excel in, or to go above. You know, that's why I say, I mean, yes, there are great things that we've contributed throughout many things,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, there are things not not to make this political, but there are certain things that we could do better with, otherwise of what we're using our time with. There's other things that we could do to make us even more excellent, but I feel like that title is just a title just to be given, kind of like
Like a cop out.
yeah, you
Hmm.
So
know.
do you feel like we deserve that title?
Say
No,
What?
no.
And why do you say that as a black person speaking?
Uh no.
are you gonna behave?
Yeah.
Nah, no. I mean,
Lash out. I want to hear it.
No.
get
No, I'm genuinely like curious. Like, why do you feel like we do not deserve that title of black excellence?
okay.
I
So
feel like,
It's a,
excellence. I feel like that's kind of, okay, for example, I feel like white people believe that they're like this superior, excellent people, you feel me? And I feel like they kind of stole that title. So why do you feel like us black community is not able to get that title or
oh
doesn't
well,
don't deserve it?
damn, that's a good
no,
question.
yeah. No, it's not above. No, it's not nothing to correlate with that. No, it's it's more we become more mediocre, you know.
Mediocre as in
We
how?
could be more greater. I
Hmm.
in certain, like I said about the music.
You mean um there's a lot more uh
It could be a lot more
hmm,
done and a lot more expiring, a lot more. It should be more
ignorance?
culture.
So do you
Yes,
feel like there was a
I feel like there's more ignorance holding us back to becoming black excellence.
do you ever feel like there was a period, like a time period where
Yes,
we were like excellent?
yes.
And what time period would you believe
70s,
that? And why
70s,
is that?
50s.
What was the black community doing to kind of, hold that position?
We were vibrant. We were beautiful. We had structure. We had, man, we had power in a way that was for unseen as a people. But later on, through people's fear of that excellence, led to
A lot of the breaking down of it.
yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes.
I'm catching on.
And I don't
I
really
am.
want to talk about the era, but the late
But
'80s and early '90s. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I'm
You know,
catching on to what you're saying. But when you say fear, what do you mean by fear? Like what? Like if you would compare today's modern time to 80s and 90s, what drifted that away from it? Does that make
Hmm.
sense? Did
Yeah.
I ask that right?
no, I
Yeah, yeah. No, I get it.
now I get you. Like I said again, it was power. It was that
'Cause,
we were
as a
all focused. We were all on one page when it came down how we presented ourselves, how we carried ourselves, how we moved, how we were seen. Now it's a conquer and divide game with us, you know. Um I don't know, just back then we were just more vibrant, we were more beautiful, Now I believe, when you just black excellence, I mean, yes, it's there. I mean, there are people now that are doing great things to go and be up to get us noticed, to spread the awareness, as far as the beauty of not just both male and female, but just everything that we do. As far as like now we're finally getting known for, like little stuff like our hair and shampoo. I'm starting noticing a lot of different people, going natural. Um,
You mean like what I'm doing?
yeah,
Yeah. So you're saying that there was that point where it got diluted, the power,
yeah,
the culture, the like I said, the strut, the way that people walk, the way you held yourself got diluted, and you got pushed down, like which is until now when people are starting to point it more out there. Now you see more art artists, like not just like music artists, but I mean like creators, like David over here, doing his own clothing brand. You got your own, you people, you have your painters, you have your, your uh what is it, people who make buildings, all that, architects, all that stuff. Is that what you mean?
yes.
Hmm.
We need to be involved more.
Hmm. Do you think that at some point, do you think that the culture
I have a
evolved to
question.
something good or devolved?
After your question, Ava, I have a question for Brian.
Okay.
Okay, I'm
So,
ready.
Oh,
man,
I
uh,
thought you was answering David's question.
no, go ahead, and go ahead, say your question now.
Okay, so Brian, do you believe when black culture? You remember, when summertime, like when we were divided with the whites. Do you feel like that was kind of like a good thing? Like, do you feel like sometimes black needs to kind of divide away from other culture and just kind of be within their self? Does that make sense? Like,
Meaning, do you
you
believe in
know,
segregation?
yeah, like as in like the Jim Crow.
Mm,
Because like, yeah, it sounds as bad saying
It
it,
sounds bad. It sounds bad, but
but
like
like during
people.
that time, I believe that's when black people are able to unite, compared to like nowadays. Black, you got black on black killings, and you got all sorts of, you know, if another black person sees another man winning, it's like jealousy, and it's like it's not really viewed how it was when during segregation time. Does that make sense?
yes,
There's not a lot of unity.
So,
yes. No unity at
do
all.
you believe like segregation was kind of like a good thing for the blacks? I'm not saying like, I mean, besides the bad side, of course.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm. Um, well, let me get deep in that. In my personal opinion,
yeah,
and I don't mean to a disclaimer, I don't mean to offend anybody, but yes, I do believe when we were segregated at one point in time, I believe that's when we had power too. But we didn't. But our people didn't see it like that. Because we were too busy wanting to be accepted as far as being able to vote, being able to sit at certain restaurants and spend money. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to eat good just as anybody else.
yeah,
Wanted to enjoy a movie theater just like anybody else. Walk across a certain street and not feel some type of way. Um, but the thing about it was at the same time, it was like having a superpower.
yeah,
At the same time, like when you don't want to have nobody messing with you, or you know what I'm saying, like they don't.
yeah,
Um, it was a movie that came on Netflix about something similar to like that. Like I think it's "Don't Touch My Hair" or something like that. But don't get me wrong, I love it now. Don't get me wrong, I love being able to, um, you know,
the quote unquote freedoms we all have.
yes. Now, as far as the anti-segregation, I love it. I love mixing with different races of people. I can't say I didn't benefit from it because I'm in an interracial relationship,
Yeah,
so I love it, goddamn. But as far as people, we should have taken advantage of certain structures that was there, but I don't think nobody really just knew because we were just too focused on merging instead of, well, all right, well, let's just do what we got to do for ourselves until that come later.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. So,
What?
whatever happened to Harriet Tubman being on the $20 bill? That's the main question.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. That was supposed to be a thing, huh?
Hmm.
I wouldn't want that, man.
Why
No,
not?
Symbolically, no, bro. No, you don't. No, because no.
What?
No.
Why not? I feel like there's too many, white faces on like dollar
Nah.
bills, and there's not even a single black person.
Hey man, how deep can we get into this, man?
Hey, you go ahead as deep as you want to. I'm just here to learn and to
Because I'm trying to learn about, my culture, of course. Like, I know enough, but I feel like I don't know a lot of pieces.
I mean, hey, like no, you're here to express what you know, and if you learn from something, if you learn something new, you learn something new. So, I'm just a third. Like I said, I'm a third party. I'm someone from the outside looking in. I've lived surrounded by it, but then again, I have no input because I just learned what was taught to me. No, but I just learned from the history books. But then again, the winner writes the history books, so there's a
Facts.
there's a lot of stuff that's been forged, erased, altered.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here learning. So I'm here trying to see. I'm here just to see how you feel, both of you feel about the culture, how it is today, and like you said, David, how it has evolved, how it has evolved from the point to where you feel like it was better. Does that make sense?
It does.
Hmm. Oh, and
But
the Harriet Tubman $20 bill is not gonna be out till 2030.
God,
Yeah, so you got like 7 years for it to be printed.
hopefully, I'm
That
still alive.
Nah, you got 20. You got 7 years. You'll be all right. That's
Hopefully.
if the dollar still holds value.
look, I just about to say that's why I'm finna say no. For simple fact, bro. That currency is not backed by nothing. So and then it's slave money as well. So you're gonna put a woman that went out and did her thing for years until she freed slaves all the way to her death to put her on a $20 bill that ain't backed by nothing, and then that $20 bill is enslaved by the Federal Reserve. Disclaimer.
Oh. I
Yeah.
mean,
No.
okay, $20 bills a little like, okay, it should be a little higher in my opinion. But at the same time, I feel like some recognition should go out for, for her, of course, for being able to free the slaves.
Yeah. Yep. The only thing that my culture has to do with, black culture, where it intertwined and intermingled, is that little pocket of Mexico that we have where, uh, all the freed slaves ran to.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
I forgot what it's called, but yeah, that's where we have most of the Afro Latino people in our culture.
And
The
there's a spot in Central. My bad. I'm sorry. There's a spot in Central Africa that's the same as well too.
that they're
That speaks
Afro
Spanish. Yeah.
Afro
And
Latino.
in Africa. Yep. And Central Africa. Yep.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we go way back. It go way even back to the ancient times.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of the food that we have is also influenced by by
Mm-hmm.
African delicacies.
Yeah. I say it all the time. I say it all the time. Food, you name it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, the only thing that is evolved is just we don't have the same ingredients don't grow everywhere.
Yes,
So
facts.
so what would be, I guess, what is it? Uh, what would be the dough for fufu is the dough that we make for into bolillos for pozole and menudo.
Really, that's what y'all use for pozole and menudo?
We use
Mm-hmm.
bread. Yeah, the white bread. We don't use the same dough, but it's
Yeah,
we use the bread and eat it almost the same way. You
y'all
just
might need to give me some menudo.
I can hook you up. I know someone who sells it regularly.
Hook me up, bro. Hook me up. Or Brian, tell your wife to make some for me, bro. Please.
I'm fucking hungry now.
Yeah,
That's on the
yeah.
news. Damn, most of them live. Most of the Afro Mexican population is concentrated in 6 states: in Guerrero, Mexico State, the capital; Veracruz, Oaxaca, Mexico City, and Jalisco. Guerrero being the most densely populated one. Oh,
Interesting.
yeah.
They don't know.
What's funny is Mexico has a lot of. It's also a breeding ground of many different cultures. Like there's a lot of Asian influence in certain parts too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a whole like mixing pot of just cultures and people, but just like
So my
everybody else, we were taught to prefer light skin, blue eyes, blonde hair.
yeah. Hmm. So why do y'all believe like okay for some reason um I feel like some people would be like okay they'd be like okay a black girl's not my type because they get to the stereotypical of like black girls are rude and da 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 da.
Yeah.
Why do y'all believe that?
Why do we believe that?
Like why do you believe people make up that stereotypical of like black girls like being as such?
Remember what I said that we were that we I was raised around a lot of black media.
Right.
So a lot of that black media, all we would have would just be the stereotypical things,
Mhm.
and we did have like you did have like over here in Hollywood, you did have like the feel good movies. You
Mhm.
had the wholesome movies. You had the ones where you showed black families being close and empowering, and they would carry each other like that.
Mhm.
But we like I said, just like in Hollywood, we had a lot of the same stereotypes where you know uh they will portray darker skin as being loud, obnoxious, dirty, the word like the bottom.
Yeah.
All I can remember, like if you were to see a novella from like the 90s, everybody who's darker than this fucking light bulb, would be servant, would be the groundskeeper, would be the driver. They would never be the ones inside the mansion, with like two or three, four cars, and this beautiful, nice, lush landscape. And they would be the people that were always, screaming, having loud parties. So this is something that we were that well, me, in my experience, I was trained to see for a long time, and it's also the same thing to everybody else. To a lot of you can ask a lot of darker skinned Mexicans, darker skinned people. Like I'm I'm brown, I'm decent colored, I guess caramel colored. Uh I'm brown. Like I am brown. I'm brown as sand. Uh so I'm still under the radar of like I cannot be in TV because every host that you see is a lot lighter than me.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fair skinned. So, we live through that prejudice of like, hey, you're not you're not up to standard. You know? Even though most of Mexican culture, most of Mexican people are brown, are darker. There, we have a skin tone. It's like a smaller percentage of light skin of white Mexicans.
Yeah, that's true.
But no, that's just how we were race to believe. We're always told to never find someone darker, to always find to always when we to come to the United States is to always find a white person, marry them, have white children, and American dream. But you know,
I got a question
yeah.
for Brian. And,
Yes.
this is with all due respect, I don't mean to disrespect your relationship, but do you feel like another culture, like another woman, like, outside of your culture is able to understand like your struggle as a black man? Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it makes sense. Hell
'Cause, like,
yeah.
my girlfriend was like, I'm sorry, I probably act like it doesn't make sense a lot because, like, I try to make sure it makes, like,
No,
perfect sense.
no, you're fine. You're trying to get your point across.
Yeah, my lady was telling me, like, I feel like, black people should kind of look for, like, other black girls because, there's, like, black dudes that love snow bunnies, but sometimes those opposite, culture is not able to understand a black man's struggle. Like, getting pulled over, driving a nice car, a black man, fearing for his life if he's going to get shot or if the cop is going to think that he stole the car. In reality, it's his. Like a white woman wouldn't understand that because, that's normal for them, or any other race would understand, a black man's culture. So how were you able to kind of, I guess, tell your wife about that? Like kind of, I don't know how to put it, but like,
Like
I
how?
get what you're
yeah,
asking. How can I make her aware of just just like being? I know I get what you're asking. As far as like to help if as far as being in an interracial relationship,
yeah, like
how
if
can I, drop that knowledge
yeah, because as a
of black culture?
Yeah,
a black woman will be able to understand a black man's struggle because y'all are both in the same culture wise,
yeah.
but with the opposite culture, it's like a lot different.
Well, well.
Well, depending where they was like from or raised.
I was about to say, like in Brian's case, he's married to a Mexican woman.
Right.
So, wow. Well, I'm gonna let Brian explain their situation.
Yeah, so I ain't gonna lie, like again, my wife is Mexican. She grew up in a predominantly black community as well, both black and Mexican. So she saw it. You don't mind telling your sisters half black? Okay, and yes, and her sisters half black too. So
Okay.
she grew up already understanding the culture. Like, believe me, I ain't have to really put her on shit because she was already listening to hip hop. As far as the music, she already, seen a couple of our movies, like Soul Food, Juice,
Yeah.
stuff like, what I'm saying, Men's to Society. So she was already hip to the culture, and she has two young boys, so she knows the dangers, the pros and cons. Yeah, I'm gonna actually have her speak.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
welcome, Miss Lindsay.
Alrighty. Hello, Miss Lindsay.
Hi.
Hi, Tanya.
Hey. So, in my situation, it's very unique because, like Brian said, my sister is half black.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister, you can very noticeably tell that she is of mixed, race. So, growing up, my sister didn't grow up as a Mexican woman because obviously she looked black. So she grew up as a black woman because she did experience racism at a young age, and I saw that growing up. So I was already aware and learned and firsthand saw the racism towards my sister.
Oh shit.
So I was able to definitely understand because I firsthand saw it happening to my sister, my blood, my, like I saw it right there, like in front of me.
To your
So
own family.
yeah, exactly. So I kind of already was very, very aware at a very young age
Okay.
about certain things like that.
Yeah.
My sister, had the typical, I'm not, typical stereotype, didn't have their dad involved in their life. Dad was in and out of prison, drugs and all that stuff. So, from a young age, we grew up knowing these things and I was aware of these things. So I had to I was very, very protective of my sister because as a black woman, seeing how she was treated, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So I know, how it would make my sister feel. So firsthand. So I'm always defending Black women because my sister is a Black woman.
Yeah.
So from a young age, I was exposed to that. So I feel like it depends on if you're, learning and being taught things at a young age.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I feel like you can relate, and also being Mexican, yeah. we have stereotypes out here too. They be saying about us. So
Oh yeah.
it's our cultures. I feel like our cultures are very similar,
Very
but
much.
we, like same thing with police. Yes, it's different for Black men, definitely out of everybody.
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter who you are. Even Black women is different. Like a Black woman is different from a Black man.
Yeah.
A Black woman might not understand a Black man's life or what he goes through, just like a Black man might not understand a Black woman's experiences either. So I feel like it's like it just depends. Like everyone's different. Everybody's going through a struggle, but it just sucks that it gets very. I guess it gets very focused,
alienated, and focused on one color,
magnified on just Black people, and it's not cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just depends to if you're willing to want to learn too, because you can't be ignorant on it.
Yeah,
that's true. Thank you, Miss Lindsay.
Thank you.
Pros and cons to Black excellency, man. There's pros and cons.
I was gonna ask, but she went away. I was gonna ask her if people didn't believe that was her sister.
Yeah, sometimes they would think that we were just friends. But we're very different in ages, very different. We're 4 years apart.
Okay. Yeah, because I would see that a lot.
And I'm a 90s baby, so our generations are very different.
Man, y'all making me feel young.
Bro, you are the youngest one. That's what I'm telling you. You are a whole different generation. We're almost 10 years older than you.
That's why I love to learn about older generation.
No, in fact, we are 10 years older than you.
But I'm glad you do, though. Pick up on that.
That's the thing. That's another thing too. Is that there's a large gap of respect from the older culture, the older generation, and to the younger one. Even right now between us three right here, me and Brian are the same age, year apart. So we're in the same cluster. But you, David, you're 10 years younger. But you have that respect for.
Yeah, I'm still locked in.
Yeah, you have that respect for the older generation. You still take in. But what I don't see is a lot of respect from other people of your generation to us, to people who are just a little bit older.
Yeah,
they call it dinosaurs, man.
I ain't that old yet. People say I look younger than I am, so I'll take that. I am young.
We had dial-up days, man. Everything for them is just connected already.
Well, they didn't have cables. Everything was wireless. David, was everything wireless for you whenever you were growing up?
Wireless?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I believe so. I had a little router, and then I had to connect the Ethernet to little stuff that I was using, which sucked. But over time, I ain't that young. I'm a 2000s. I still know a little bit of stuff.
Let's see, you're 2000s. We're early 90s. Brian is what, 90?
91.
91.
I was 91.
There you go. He's 2 years. He's 2 years older than me. I'm 93. So it's still a difference between early 90s to the 2000s. Huge leap in technology.
Yeah, that is true.
That's what I'm saying. Was it different?
And culture too.
Yeah, completely different culture. Because by then, that's whenever a lot of in the 2000s, I know that a lot of the 90s stuff was being washed out and you
Mhm.
know
Faded out.
changed. Yeah, and changed and altered all that stuff. There was a lot more of comfort. Like, we're comfortable here. There wasn't a lot of movement, a lot of fights to do better. Not like it is now.
Question.
Yes.
Do y'all believe like the white industry is kind of wiping out the black industry, if that makes sense, as in like music wise?
I like how you're quite like you have very valid questions, right? Very valid
Yeah.
questions.
It's like
But these
I
questions are triggering.
No, they're,
Brian.
they're
Yeah.
not. No, they're not. No, they're not.
I can,
It's
I,
not
I can.
triggering. I told you, hey, I said I was gonna be safe today and be positive because we're trying to establish black excellence.
We're still uplifting.
It's still okay.
You
Yeah,
know.
we're gonna uplift with the knowledge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I would love your opinion on that, Brian and David.
See, to me, from what I've seen, right, it's not that it's being washed out. It's more that it's being it's there. There's an attempt to assimilate or to incorporate, to try to bring it together, but done in like they want to do it their way. You know.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Slow. Hold on. Hold on. Reverse.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you say bring it together, I'm gonna need you to specify on that, maybe, please.
Meaning that they want to accept media, black media as it is, because they might see it as lucrative in some kind of in one way or another. They might see it as like, hey, this is profitable for them. They can make a profit out of it, but they want to bring it into their world to boost it, but they want to do it their way. You know.
Give me an example, like when you say boost it.
Let me give you. Let me think of a good example. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example, right? Now I just thought about an example. When the movie Get Out came out, right? Tell me, like, you can tell that movie.
Straight to the gun, boy.
Yes, like I cocked it. Like I cocked it. That movie right there, right? Was at first, whenever people found out who was making it and all that stuff, like everything that was going on with it, it was strictly mostly black, right? It was pro black the entire production, all the way to the finished product, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this was like mostly like all black people working on this, right? It was like I said, it was pro black, from what I remember. Until that movie came out, it shook a lot of the industry, and it shook a lot of racist racist people fears.
Racial line. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of racial fears, even though that's not what it was for, right? But obviously they had those, it had those tones, but that's not what it was all about, right? It was still a psychological thriller. It was still a horror movie. But if you want to, it's up to you if you want to bring out, like, if all you got from it was it's racist, which I can see. Yeah, if you magnify that, if that's all you're focused on, you're only magnifying that, because everything else like before that was very drama, comedy, rom-com. Everything was a drama made to where everything was loud and fighting, and like there's a lot of disagreements in the movies with like mostly featuring black people. There was a lot of like a lot of drama. Nothing to do with like them being a loving black family or nothing like that. It was just a lot of drama within that stuff, within their circle. It wasn't until that movie came out when people were like, oh, it's a racist movie. No, it's not. It's a psychological thriller. but it shook up a lot of people's fears. You understand me?
Yes, I could see that.
Okay.
Okay.
Brian, your take?
And hold on, re-ask me the question again, please.
Do you feel like the white media is kind of like trying to wipe out black media in a way? Like as far as to like artists, like new black artists, just everything that's surrounding or going on.
Okay, so are you asking in a positive or in a negative?
Either way.
Let me hear from both perspectives. So you can start off just because we're being uplifting. You can start off as positive.
Okay.
Well,
let me hear your positives.
let me find some. Well, the positive, at least we're getting acknowledged.
It's the acknowledgement itself.
It acknowledges in itself, at least for our greatness. Because like I said, we are great actors. We are great musicians. We have the talent.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out there and watch a great love movie. You can go out there and watch a great inspiring movie, a family movie, music as well, or even a play,
Yeah.
So we are being seen and we are being heard. Sometimes is it in the right tone? No. But at the end of the day, it does represent us.
Yeah.
But so, I'm just to go back to your little question earlier.
Yeah.
You had asked about the women.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give you a little something. It's not that brothers tend to look outside the race for whatever reason, whether it be a stereotypic reason or sometimes it could just be mainly we just don't have the patience. It's not necessarily our women ourselves. I mean, themselves. It could be the men too, not wanting to deal sometimes with a strong woman because it's a balance. So just to go back to that question, but I mean, yes, there are some times where you might encounter something you're not willing to deal with, or that's not necessarily. Look, I'm not gonna say this or that, but how can I say this in a respectful way? Not fight, but sometimes you do gotta buck. But now I'm not saying in a physical way, but in an emotional way.
Yeah.
You got to remember our women been through a lot, and they've seen a lot of what we've been through. Right. So sometimes they could be doing things to make us stronger, but it's coming onto us in a different way. So that just goes back to answering your question as far as like, men saying, oh, I want to be with a black woman, or hey, I'm looking outside the race. That's the touch on that.
Question, and I don't mean to cut you off or nothing, but whenever you say our brothers want something that we're not ready for something that we can't handle, correct? So are you saying those our brothers that look outside of the race and aren't ready for something that we can't handle, so are you implying that they go out and look for something that they can handle, so that way they can kind of make themselves feel like superior to whoever they're handling? Does that make sense?
I don't think superior is the right word.
Yeah, not like that. No.
So what terms would you put it in? Because I mean,
I think it's just to lessen the battle.
Yes.
Because I can put it this way, right? Well, from what I know, again, and from what I've heard from
hey, I'm listening. I'm just gonna use the restroom.
Go ahead. From what I've seen and what I heard from friendships and stuff like that, it's always a constant battle of who can do who the worst, or who who gets hurt the most. Like, who has it tougher than who. And there's a lot of times where people don't want to deal with that fight or don't want that fight. And sometimes, with just when two people come from the same struggle, you get put into a situation like, oh, my struggle was worse than yours, type of thing. And you don't want to deal with that. So I think that's what he was going with, is that you rather go find somebody else that can, that where you don't have to fight that fight of like, I struggled harder than you. It's more like, oh, I understand you, and we can just kind of work together, to better ourselves in a way, right?
Yeah, something along the lines of that. I'm gonna say this. It's a science behind it. It's truly a science behind it, and it goes a long way back. I'm gonna say this. There was a time period where it was balanced and it was equal.
Yeah.
For both the black man and the black woman. And I don't want to get too much in detail about it, but we were divided. There were certain entities, to go back to your question, there were certain entities that were outside of our race that destroyed both our homes, that created a program that allowed black women to, take the man away from the picture with the welfare program. That created welfare checks that they got every month or every week, depending on the state and their situation. So the black man got pushed aside. And then for so long, without being shown that, having that same love, like, not trying to be racist, but like, you're not growing up seeing that. You're not going to portray that. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't see, a black man with a black woman,
yeah,
if you're not constantly showing that, like you said earlier, that you don't walk into that shoe. You cross, you cross the tracks. You go on the other side and go catch the, go play in the other grass.
Oh, like
So
like how kind of like how we were taught to, if the same stereotypical mindset, to where if you see a
yeah,
black man walking your way, cross to the other side.
yeah, we were indoctrinated to, I would say, demise each other instead of loving each
Hi,
other.
Beth. Yeah. I mean, I understand that bit. But you, David?
You said, how about me?
Yeah, does this answer any of your questions?
It did. But did you end up answering the question that I had asked?
No, the media, he completely deviated from the media question.
Media question?
Yeah.
The media question.
You didn't give
it needs to be more balanced. It needs to be more balanced, bro. We're not seeing better of ourselves. To me personally, I feel like we got, like, all right, movies. We have gangster movies instead of empowering movies. You don't see a lot of love movies. You get a lot of sad movies. It needs to be balanced, or slave movie. That's what you say with the media. I feel like,
okay, so let me put it to you this way, right? Let me ask you this question, right?
Me or Brian? Or
yeah. Both of you, because this still goes back to the media question.
Right.
How do you feel about the Will Smith movie that he made for Apple TV Plus?
What do you make?
It's a movie. Hang on, let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me a quick second.
yeah,
you know which one I'm talking about?
The one he just did. Yeah, I forgot. Damn, what's the name of the movie? What's the name of the Will Smith movie?
Emancipation.
Shut that bullshit. Okay.
Emancipation, and it's about a slave who got freed, learned to I don't know if exactly, I haven't seen the movie, but supposedly he learned, he escaped or was freed, something like that, and no, I think he was sold to another farm, to another plantation, and he escaped and he went back to save his family from another plantation.
and had to fight in the war.
I think so. I don't know exactly.
Yeah.
He had to
So-
fight in war.
Yeah, the Civil War.
During the Civil War. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was during the Civil War.
I wasn't really much interested in it. It
Right.
just, it was just Will Smith in another movie. But he did say that he felt very much appreciated. He felt a lot more appreciation for that time period and for the person that he portrayed.
And the question was, how did we feel about it?
Yeah, because he said, because Brian said that like it's a lot of there's no actual love movies, no real love movies. You get a lot of Think Like a Man movies,
That's like, I haven't seen the movie, but I mean, if there is like, as you said, like he goes to another plantation to go visit his family, I feel like there should be low key like a lot more movies as such, because I feel like sometimes Black people kind of forget, like, their time period and what we had to go through as far as to history. And as Will Smith said, he was greatly appreciated to be able to play that role. I feel like that kind of like, I mean, I don't know how Will Smith is as a person and how much like how appreciated he is with like history, but I feel like me as like myself, if I was to play that role, that would be something big for me, because then I'm like, okay, now I know what the slaves had to go through. Now I know the struggles and how, or what the feeling is to go this or try to run away from a plantation to another plantation just to go see my family, just to go say hey and tell them I love them, and I'm not too sure if I'm gonna see them again because they might be in another plantation, if that makes sense. So I feel like there should be a lot more movies as such like that, because I feel like that kind of reminds Black people their roots, and less violence behind all that, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I understand. I understand your point. You're saying so you could keep it more like to keep the history alive, but better, to feel more appreciated of what has come out of it. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because Brian said that he was tired of seeing so many Black movies about
slave movies.
Yeah.
Very unaccurately say slave movies.
Why?
They were inaccurate. Go back to your question about the media, bro. Let me tell you something. They don't want to show you how bad that slavery was. They don't. They don't.
Okay.
They don't want to show you how bad. But let me give you some news you can use.
Yeah.
Like I said in my introduction, there's a movie called Goodbye Uncle Tom's Cabin that you can watch on YouTube. You really want to see how bad slavery was? If that's gonna show you how bad slavery was. But me personally, I don't like slave movies because they don't depict slavery how it really was. But as far as the Will Smith movie, I haven't watched it, but I will say this: if you Google the word emancipated, it just means a transfer of power. So if you go back to what the Civil War was fought over, it was fought for the power of the right to own slaves. And when the South lost, guess who won the rights over blacks?
The country?
The government. Yep, the country. So that's why I don't like talking about emancipated. Okay, and what did they do right after that? They built prisons.
So someone on the chat, since we're streaming this live, asked the question, what's the video on YouTube called?
The movie?
What is it called?
Goodbye Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Goodbye Uncle Tom's Cabin?
Mm-hmm. If you want the
movie?
Huh?
It's a 1972 movie?
Yeah. It was fresh. It was fresh, boy.
It says it's available on Amazon, but then it says it's not available.
No. Go watch it on YouTube. They got it. Or movie websites online.
One of those websites where you can watch your movies.
YouTube. Yeah,
One
yeah.
of as long as it's safe, Make sure you use a
What's
VPN.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, use a VPN. Don't let the people steal your information.
I always feel like
Fucking stupid. But yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of those movies. There's a very famous one, Color Purple.
oh yeah.
That's a very famous one. That's the one that everybody goes to. It's so popular. This shit's been memed too.
Mm-hmm.
It's been made fun of too for so long. That shit's even funny. And it goes Django too. But that's the thing. Like with movies like Django and stuff,
It was
they're
more of
yeah they're no they're Hollywood up, meaning they're more exaggerated.
yeah.
There's a lot of exaggeration. There's a lot of changes to make it more appealing to the public.
Yeah.
That's another thing too with the way that a lot of white media is portrayed is spruced up. It's altered to make it more appealing to everybody. Again, that's why Get Out was also like scary for a lot of people, and why it also caused a big commotion.
Yeah.
Because people were like, "Whoa, well, like, whoa, what is this? This doesn't feel very comfortable for me."
Yeah.
Completely bypass the whole "it's a scary movie" to like it's a racist movie. No, it's not. It's like saying Us is a scary movie. It's not. I mean, Us is a racist movie. It's not. It's a fucking terrifying movie.
This was very confusing.
How was it confusing?
I don't know. I kind of understood it, but at the same time, it was just, I don't think I was really like paying attention to it.
Were you medicated? Were you medicated at the time?
No, I was not medicated.
Because it makes a lot of sense when you're medicated. I can tell you that much.
You was medicated when you watched it?
One of those movies, social commentary movie. Yeah. See, a lot of movies that Jordan Peele makes are social commentaries. But there are still horror movies. There's still scary movies, thrillers. So the main genre is there. It's just an underlying social commentary. RoboBeth on the chat. It's just said that it's a social commentary. That's what they felt.
Mm-hmm. Who was that by?
What do you mean? The comment?
Yeah.
Beth, RoboBeth.
Oh.
Yeah, but all right. Y'all want to go ahead and finish this off here? Because we can keep talking about black media, but I'd rather save that for another episode.
Yeah, no.
And and for that, I want to bring in if I can, right? I want to bring in the digital content creators that I know, black content creators that I know that are one speaks his mind. Like, if y'all don't know, follow Mr. Taco Bob 1996. That man is pro black everything, pro black women, pro black that, like, businesses, everything. But he will tell you when you're out of pocket. He will not stand for ignorance, and that man is very, very, very outspoken. Like, hilarious to watch, very outspoken. I want to have him on so we can talk more about it, especially digital content creation, because everything now is digital content creation. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
It's how David is, running his business. It's all digital content creation. So we can talk about that next time.
For sure.
So I want to see if I can bring in Mr. Taco Bob 1996 and Mr. The Solid X. These two people are whenever I first met them, they were, very small content creators. and then they just boomed over in their own fields, their own respective fields, and both of these people are very good friends together, and they're good friends of mine. So I want to see if I can bring them on here. Hopefully next time. We'll see. But yeah. So appreciate everybody for being here, listening to us. Thank you for watching this video. If you're watching this over on YouTube, or if you're watching this here on the stream, we stream this every Sunday. We have been lacking the last couple weeks, but hey, I'm trying to keep I'm gonna try to keep a rhythm, right? I'm gonna try to stay consistent this year. I want to thank my co-hosts, my guest stars today, Mr. Brian and Mr. David. David, you want to say, you want to retell everybody about your business?
A new drop coming soon. Just posted a video, and I say you guys go check it out. With the Instagram page is YUSOWRLD. If you don't believe or if you don't believe in the brand now, you'll be wishing that you believed us 5 years ago. I guess I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I
just
believe.
know I'm putting a lot of work into it, into my craft, and it's not sloppy work. And
I saw the video, and I'm digging the sweats, the pants that you have.
Yeah. They're supposed to be cargos, but the 3D animation to add cargos on a figure is pretty hard. So that was my fault.
No, they still look nice. The cargos look nice. As soon as they drop, I'll probably get me a pair if I can.
For sure.
If they don't sell out.
Tell them where they can find the video.
Oh, I typed it in chat. So I typed it in chat. I make sure let people know. Appreciate you guys for being here, for teaching me some new things, and for including me in the conversation. Again, I'm just I'm just here from the outside looking in. I was raised around it, but again, I don't have a lot of say in it. So, hey, and appreciate everybody for being here. I will post this probably on Tuesday, which would be the 7th, February 7th. Yeah, so it'll be there. It'll be there on everywhere you listen to podcasts, on YouTube. Yeah, that's where you can find us. Listen to us, rate us, like, subscribe, whatever the language is over on your favorite site. Yeah. Thanks everybody.
Alrighty.
Thank you everybody for watching the good show, man. And we love to see you next time.
Bye,
for some more news you can use.
Bye everybody.